Let's talk all the DC craziness for the week. All right, I've got quite a few things to go over here. We're going to start with Leslie Grace, the star of Batgirl, which is going to be on HBO Max. She came out and said the other day that Batman is definitely not going to be in the movie. He's going to be so busy off doing some other crazy stuff that he can't make an appearance in the film, which can be seen as bad and can also be seen as good. It's bad because we won't have Batman in the movie, and I don't know how they're going to pull off Batgirl without having Batman in the film. But the good news is this is still connected to Zack Snyder's vision of these characters, which is good because I do know that the guy who played Commissioner Gordon, he's going to be coming back. And this at least shows that they're afraid to put somebody else in the suit. And everyone has that vision of Ben Affleck being Batman, that his absence is there for a reason. So hopefully he's still going to be cast in this role going forward, and we will see more Ben Affleck down the line, which is my hope, and I still believe that that is going to happen. But at least it's still in the same universe, which is really good. There was a report that dropped today that HBO Max is actively in development of a Penguin TV series for the Batman movie that's going to be starring Robert Pattinson. So they want to bring Colin Farrell back, and it's going to be kind of a prequel showing the Penguins rise to the top there in Gotham City. This is on top of them doing the Gotham City Police Department, the GCPD show that is going to be tied to the Batman. They're banking heavily on the Batman movie, and I still have some reservations about that whole thing. I don't know what to think about this at this stage because, you know, everyone wants to see Ben Affleck in a film. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't want to see that. And so they're really banking heavily on going in this other direction. And I don't know if that's going to backfire on them or not. So we're going to see how that ends up here shortly. But we definitely now have two spinoffs that are going to be off of that movie. And that ball is going to be rolling very quickly here in the next couple of years on HBO Max. Which leads me to the last story that I'm going to talk about today, which is Zack Snyder's Justice League. My last video, I talked about how I had a really hard time tracking down a 4K copy of the movie. I had it on pre-order, the Steelbook from Best Buy. Luckily, that's going to show up either tomorrow or on Wednesday of this week. So that is still coming. I'm crossing my fingers that it's going to be in decent shape. I have gotten stuff totally beat up by Best Buy. I think, in fact, some other not DC, other DC Steelbooks that I've received, a couple of them have been severely damaged. So I'm hoping that this one comes out in good shape. But I did order it from Amazon. I already have that copy downstairs, which I'm debating on whether I'm going to keep it or not. I may return it back to Amazon once I get the one from Best Buy. I was just afraid mine from Best Buy was never going to ship, and I wanted to make sure I got my hands on the movie. So I do have that copy downstairs, but it wasn't easy to get. And I will tell you that this movie is selling out everywhere. It is #1 across the world for sales. It is going it's on fire. And this shows you that there is a fan base for this. And Warner Brothers is still failing to listen because this is the craziest thing happened with Warner Brothers this week. They actually unlisted the trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League being released on video physically. You cannot see it on YouTube. It is unlisted. They have it done, but they're not letting people see it. They're not promoting this movie at all. They have sabotaged this from the beginning. This goes back to when the movie got released on HBO Max. Somebody actually released part of the movie. If you went to go watch Tom and Jerry, it would actually play part of the Justice League movie. And this was a week before it was supposed to stream. So they have been actively trying to sabotage this movie from day one. And I just don't understand how they're not listening to the fans at this stage. We know what we want. We want to see Justice League 2 and 3. People who don't, I don't understand where they're coming from at this stage. You know, everyone keeps saying, the ship has sailed, move on. No, there was an incredible story that was being told, and we deserve to see the whole thing. So I'm hoping that they're not going to be able to hide the sales physically because this is stuff that can actually be tracked. They still have not released the actual streaming numbers. You can't get those. And, there were people claiming that the Suicide Squad had so much more on streaming. There's no way you can't know that because Zack Snyder's Justice League was heavily watched by so many people, and they never released the numbers. So they're doing smoke and mirrors all over the place. They're throwing out smoke and mirrors everywhere to get people to, kind of shy away from this and not have interest in it. But the interest is not going to go away. There are definitely some hashtag events being planned all over social media over the next couple of months and all the way leading up to the DC Fandom, which does come out almost in a month from now, which I'm not watching. My daughter's actually getting married that day, so I am not going to be watching. And I was disappointed with the last one. And it looks like a lot of the programming this year on the DC Fandom is the same as last year. And it says some big surprises. Well, unless they announce Man of Steel 2, unless they announce the Ben Affleck Batman movie, and unless they talk about Justice League 2 or 3, you're going to have some severely disappointed people. And I don't want to be drawn into that because, the only thing I really care about is seeing the new trailers, and that stuff will be released shortly after the DC Fandom. So I'm not going to spend the time. I was glued to this thing all day last time, and I was so disappointed with what we got. There were no big revelations, and we just got trailers to things we already knew were coming out, and it looks like it's the same stuff this year. So I'm just not happy with the direction that Warner Brothers is going with everything. I'm hoping with this regime change in the middle of next year, things are going to change. We will see what happens, and hopefully Hamada does no longer has a job, and we can get these people back in where they belong. I could tell you the guy who's going to be taking over at Discovery, he has said he wants to bring these filmmakers back in and get the talent back together and to make the movies that the fans want. And so I have all the faith that that is going to happen, but there's a lot that Hamada can mess up over the next 8 months. So we're going to see what happens going into the middle of next year when everything changes. But keep an eye on my channel. I want to thank everybody who has watched and subscribed so far. I did finally hit that 1,000 mark last week, and things are growing on my channel, and I'm going to be continuing to do videos. I will always be updating on the DC stuff as things come out. And here's just a little thing if you haven't noticed. If you want to go onto Instagram, Zachary Levi this is crazy. He released a video that is an hour and 12 minutes long. He was at the Dragon Con or something this last weekend somewhere in Georgia, and he posted on Sunday, he posted an hour, 12-minute video. So go watch that. He's highly entertaining to watch, and he stays pretty interactive with the fans. So Zachary Levi is pretty awesome. I'm eager to see what he does with Shazam 2. So hopefully there'll be more after that. I did really enjoy the first one a lot. So I'm looking forward to the next one. Lots of DC goodness to be looking forward to, and then there's things to be nervous about. Like I said, I'm really worried about them banking heavily on the Batman when it hasn't even been released yet. Who knows? It may end up being an amazing film, but honestly, I'm not even really all that interested in it. And I'm a massive Batman fan. I'm first and foremost a Batman fan over everything, and I'm just I got burned with Ben Affleck, and the studio just doesn't understand the mistakes that they're making, and I fail to understand why they can't see this. Right now, they're just doing it in spite against the fans. So anyway, again, I appreciate all the support. Look for my next video sometime next week, unless there's other big news that drops this week. But between Leslie Grace and the Colin Farrell story today and what's happened with Justice League, I felt like it was time to do a video. We'll see you guys when there's some more information out there on the next one. You guys have a great week.